Ever get that feeling? Like, you want a PC that can handle anything you throw at it, but also one that looks amazing doing it.
Yeah,
Like a
definitely.
serious statement piece, right?
Totally. Form and function, right?
Exactly. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a PC case that's all about that. It's the Thermaltake Core P3 ATX tempered glass gaming computer case chassis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we're going to base our deep dive on a review from TechWise Corner. I think it was published March 20th, 2025, so pretty recent.
Okay.
And basically, we're going to figure out what makes this case so special and who it's really for.
That's good.
TechWise Corner is really good at explaining tech in simple terms, so I think it'll be a great source.
Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. They're pretty solid.
Cool, so let's jump in. The first thing that jumps out, even just from the pictures, is the design. TechWise Corner calls it bold and innovative, which I think is pretty accurate. It's an open frame design.
Right away, that's a huge departure from the typical PC case.
Absolutely. So for someone who's not familiar with PC cases, what exactly does open frame mean in this context?
Okay, so picture your typical PC case. You've got those solid side panels. Everything's kind of hidden away inside.
Right, yeah.
With an open frame design like the Core P3, those side panels are gone. So all your components, the motherboard, the graphics card, everything is completely exposed.
Wow, so it's like putting your PC's guts on display.
Exactly. And they're doing it in style here. The Core P3 uses tempered glass panels on either side, so you get this panoramic view of all the hardware.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not just open, it's like it's meant to be seen.
Absolutely. And speaking of being seen, the review mentions that these glass panels have a tool-free removal mechanism.
So no screwdrivers or anything.
Nope. Super easy to get in there for cleaning or upgrading.
That's pretty convenient.
Yeah, for sure. And even though it's open frame, the case itself is built to last. They've used high-quality steel construction.
So it's not just about looks, it's sturdy too.
Exactly. You don't want your showcase wobbling around.
Definitely not. And get this, you can even wall mount this thing.
Yeah, that's one of the standout features for sure.
Imagine that. Your PC up on the wall like a piece of art.
It definitely turns it into a focal point.
No more hiding it under the desk.
Sure. But it also raises some practical questions, like where are you going to put all the cables?
Good point.
And dust could become a bigger issue.
True, true. But TechWise Corner really emphasizes the panoramic viewing experience. That seems to be a big part of the appeal.
Oh, absolutely. With an open design like this, there's nothing obstructing your view of the components.
So if you've got RGB lighting, custom water cooling, all that good stuff,
It's all on full display.
I can see why people would love that. But like you said before, cable management is key here.
Oh, it's essential. Imagine you've got this beautifully lit, high-end PC, and then there's just a mess of cables everywhere.
It would ruin the whole effect.
Totally. But thankfully, Thermaltake's thought of that. The Core P3 has a decent amount of space behind the motherboard tray, specifically for cable routing.
Oh, that's good to hear. So you can at least try to keep things tidy.
Exactly. It takes some effort, but you can achieve a really clean look. Now let's talk about what kind of hardware you can actually fit in this thing.
Yeah, because it's got this unique design. I'm curious about compatibility.
Right, well, according to TechWise Corner, it supports all the main motherboard sizes, ATX, Micro ATX, and Mini ITX. So you've got options there.
Okay, so no matter how big or small your build is, you're good.
Pretty much. And for storage, you can fit up to 3.5-inch hard drives or 4 2.5-inch SSDs.
That's a decent amount of storage space.
Yeah, should be plenty for most people.
Yeah.
And now let's talk cooling, which is crucial with powerful components.
Especially in an open case like this, right?
You bet. And the Core P3 doesn't disappoint. It supports a ton of different fan configurations.
So you can really customize the airflow.
Exactly. Plus, it can handle radiators up to 360 millimeter at both the top and bottom. So if you're into liquid cooling.
Oh, wow. So you could go all out with a custom loop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what about the graphics card? That's usually the star of the show, visually speaking.
Right, and they tend to be pretty big these days.
Well, the Core P3 can handle graphics cards up to 320 millimeter long. It's pretty generous. And get this, it even includes a PCIe riser cable.
What does that do?
It lets you mount your graphics card vertically.
Oh, I've seen that. It looks so cool.
It does, right.
Yeah.
And in an open case like this, it really makes a statement. Plus, it can sometimes help with airflow, too.
I see. But the review did mention something about potential compatibility issues with riser cables.
Right, right. Apparently, some users have had trouble with certain riser cables not working properly with their specific graphics cards.
Yo, it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, definitely double-check compatibility before you buy anything.
Good advice. Okay, so let's say you've got all your components. What's it actually like building in this open case?
Well, according to TechWise Corner, it's a bit more demanding than a standard case.
In what way?
Well, because everything is exposed, there's nowhere to hide messy cables or anything like that.
Ah, so you really need to be meticulous about cable management.
Absolutely. It's not a case for beginners, let's put it that way.
I can imagine. But it sounds like the results are worth it if you take the time.
Oh yeah, if you do it right, it looks incredible. And to make things easier, the case has a modular design, so you can install components on separate brackets before putting everything together.
That's pretty clever. Makes things less fiddly, I guess.
Yeah, and the instructions are apparently pretty clear too, which is always helpful.
Good to know. We've talked a lot about the looks, but what about performance? How does the open design affect things like cooling?
Well, the review says that the Core P3 has excellent thermal performance. All that open space means there's tons of natural airflow.
So components stay cooler, even under heavy load.
Exactly. And of course, you can add even more fans or a liquid cooling system if you want to.
Okay, so it's got the cooling covered, but is there a downside to all that open space? Like, what about noise?
Yeah, that's the trade-off. Because there are no side panels to muffle the sound, the Core P3 can be a bit louder than a closed case.
So if you're sensitive to noise, it's something to keep in mind.
For sure. The review recommends getting quieter fans or maybe a closed-loop liquid cooler if noise is a concern.
Makes sense. So back to the aesthetics. It seems like there are endless possibilities for customization with this case.
Oh, absolutely. The open design and the tempered glass panels just beg for personalization. RGB lighting, custom cables, all that stuff looks amazing in this case.
It's like a blank canvas for PC builders.
Totally. And Thermaltake even has a whole ecosystem of accessories you can get, like LED strips and fan controllers.
Wow, so you can really go all out. And then there's the wall mounting option, which adds another layer of customization.
All right, you can mount it vertically, horizontally, even upside down if you want to.
I've never seen a case that gives you that much freedom.
It's pretty unique. Okay, so we know it looks amazing and it performs well, but what about the price?
Yeah, because all this doesn't come cheap, right?
Well, the review says that the Core P3 is priced competitively within the mid-range for PC cases.
So not the cheapest, but not outrageous either.
Exactly. They point out that you get a lot for your money, like the PCIe riser cable and the high-quality tempered glass.
So it seems like it's aimed at enthusiasts who are willing to spend a bit more for a premium experience.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Okay, let's wrap things up. What are your main takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, it's clear that the Thermaltake Core P3 is a statement piece. It's not just a functional box to hold your components. It's about showcasing them, making them a part of your decor.
I agree. And it seems like Thermaltake has really thought about the details. The cable management options, the modular design, the different mounting orientations, it's all very well considered.
Yeah, and the performance doesn't seem to be compromised by the open design. In fact, it might even be better because of the improved airflow.
True, but the noise level is something to consider, especially if you're someone who values a quiet PC.
Definitely. So for me, the Core P3 is for someone who wants a unique, eye-catching PC and is willing to put in the extra effort to make it look its best.
I think that's a great summary. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, it could be the perfect case.
Absolutely. So to wrap up our deep dive today, think about this. In a world where tech is everywhere, shouldn't our PCs reflect our personal style and priorities? What would showcasing your system say about you?
It's a great question to leave our listeners with. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See that?